welcome back to the Journey to the FarLands. Alright, well, let's see here. I got a bunch of stuff, so let's just kind of break out of here. Take a quick look around for unpleasantries, and happily not finding any. We find that west is this way. And we head onwards to the FarLands in our first boat of the day. Alright. Okay, it's a short-term boat. That's alright. Anyway, here we are. It's Wednesday, November the 16th for episode 134 of the Journey to the FarLands. And let's see, this is the morning of the 409th Minecraft day since leaving spawn. As we travel onwards, westwards, journeying to the FarLands in Minecraft Beta 1.7.3, and using that version of Minecraft because Beta 1.7.3 had some really great terrain generation, and B, it is the last version of Minecraft in which the FarLands exist. In any event, moving onwards, let's see, raising money for Child's Play charity along the way. To date, so far, between the ancient chip-in widget that I was using at the beginning and the Child's Play widget that I'm using now, add the totals donated via those two different methods together, and we reached that $636.12, or 10.02% of the goal has been raised, and we continue onwards. And just think, only, what is it, 951 more $6 donations, and we get there? I think I should grab some wool while it's standing there right in front of me. What do you think? Okay, here's another one, and we've got two more down here. And I see another one over here. I shouldn't have come down into this, but we're alright. Anyway, continuing the stroll. Yeah, I don't need any more of that. I can get rid of that. Heading onwards. Well, let's see. I've been having some fun with my weight loss efforts of recent. Oh, I forget what the doggone totals were. I meant to copy that information into the text file that I keep open while I'm doing these videos, and I forgot to do that. I was busy looking up other things and so on, but the basic gist of it is that the weight loss is continuing. I am now very solidly, it seems, into the 280s, in the middle 280s, and I'm looking forward to heading down to the 270s, hopefully fairly soon, but of course we can't expect instantaneous results on things like this. And I had a little bit of, I guess you could call it an almost adventure yesterday. Shut up, cow. You too. Good grief. Anyway, where was I? Oh, yes. Sort of, kind of, almost adventure. See, the particular diet plan type thing that I'm doing is an Atkins style low carb thing. where I focus on having low carbohydrate intake, which naturally results in a lower calorie intake, and I end up eating more things like meat and fish and chicken and so on, and it becomes a high protein, low calorie, low carb, high protein kind of diet. And, you know, because, like, for example, meat, fish, chicken, among other things, these substances do not have carbohydrates in them. So it pretty much you can have what you want of that. Well, within reason, because they do have calories. But still, you can eat a fair amount of meat before you hit too many calories. Seriously. And you will get full on it. Ask me how I know. Yeah. Well, one of the side effects of having this kind of diet is kind of significant for a diabetic like myself, because the effect that I'm talking about is that because you're taking in so little in the way of carbohydrates, which are things that the body will process into glucose, that your blood glucose levels just naturally drop. And now my blood glucose levels typically over the last year or so, just the last year or so, I mean, in the past it's been a whole lot higher. I have had my blood sugar actually be high enough that a meter that is capable of reading up to 600 would be incapable of reading mine, because mine was higher than the meter was designed to read. And trust me, that's bad. You know, when you show a meter, you take your meter into the doctor's office, like I did one time, and show him that, and he pages through the previous readings in the meter, and you can see he's actually visibly shocked and stunned, doing a double take with many of these readings, because there are some of them that are so high that the meter will just, it's not actually being polite, it just says high. And the meter's not being polite, it's telling you that the reading is so high that it can't read it. The value of that sample was so high that it was beyond the meter's design capability. And when you've got a blood glucose level of over 600, that's bad. This is when doctors and such kind of look at you with they don't necessarily say it, but the look in their face is something on the order of, how is it you are still walking around? How is it that you are still breathing with readings that high? You know, they look at you like that, and it's, oh, wow. But no, just over the last year, because in the last year, my blood sugar readings have typically been anywhere from as low as around 150 to as high as 250. And, yeah, to give you a reference, normal blood sugar levels are, well, technically from about 80 to 110 or thereabouts. This is what is considered a normal level. And mine's been way over that for a long time. And then in the last couple of weeks, I started doing this low carb thing. And my average blood sugar level values have dropped quite a bit. And, well, a few days ago, for example, I took a reading and my blood sugar was down to 84. And that was so cool. Because that, for one thing, it has a positive effect on my vision. I actually see a little better then. And I've been feeling better and so on. All right, make sure I'm pointing in the right direction here. I don't want to go the wrong way again. Yeah. Anyway, and just feeling better and so on. And so, this is a good thing. Less carbohydrates, there's less for the body to process into glucose. Your blood sugar level just naturally goes down. It's great. And it feels great, too. It really does. But it opens up something else. It opens up the potential for it to go down too far. And yesterday, you see, I had actually intended to get this video and at least one other up and taken care of yesterday. But yesterday became a little complicated in that regard. I had to basically stop doing things and tend to my own situation because my blood sugar kind of started to tank. And the last reading I took, and I'm not taking readings very frequently right now because each one requires a new test strip, and those, sadly, are both A, not free, and B, I only have a very few of them left right now. I need to get to the store today and remedy that situation so that I can feel comfortable about testing a little bit more frequently. And I think I need to be absolutely certain to test at least once a day. And so on. But yesterday I had a reading where the blood sugar level was at 77. Oh, for crying out loud. It was at 77, and I could tell by the way I felt that it was continuing to drop. And that put me in what for me is a very unusual situation, because there are two kinds of diabetics. There's diabetics where your blood sugar is naturally too low, or, well, by whatever reason, where your blood sugar is consistently too low, and then there's the kind like me where the blood sugar is consistently too high. I'm typically the kind that has it way too high. And I found myself in the situation of my blood sugar tanking and going way down to the point where it was getting into the too low range. And having blood sugar too low is every bit as bad, and in some ways, at least one way, it's worse than having it too high. And the reason I say that is because too low, there is only just so much too low. There is a whole lot more room in the too high range than there is in the too low range, because, well, let's put it this way, you are not going to be in anything resembling excellent health if your blood glucose level should happen to reach 0. This would really seriously not be a good thing. Exactly how good thing it would not be, I am not going to say, because I'm not any kind of medical professional and so on, but I do know from my own personal experience that when the blood sugar starts dropping, whoa, you need to do something to bring it up. And how did I bring it up? Coffee to the rescue. You see, over the course of things, I was feeling good at the start of the day. And as the day went on, that feeling good got shakier and shakier. And it took me a while to realize what was going on and to get out the blood glucose meter and test it to find out. But yeah. So, and the reason coffee was the thing that helped and rescued me from the problem is because of the way I make coffee. You know, I make my coffee for a 3-cup mug, so I make it that much at a time. And in that 3-cup mug, I use 2 teaspoons of sugar per cup and about a half a cup of milk per 3-cup mug. And the thing about these things is that they have carbs, they have sugars. The sugar exactly is, of course, sugars. And normally when one is eating a low-carb diet, one would tend to avoid such things as my sugared and milked coffee. That if you're one to drink black coffee with no sugar, that's actually good, because coffee has antioxidants and so on, and it's actually a good thing to have. It's just coffee made the way I make it is not encouraged on this kind of diet. But because I'm cutting so much carbs out of the food that I'm eating, I need to be mindful of blood sugar levels. And so I think this pretty much kind of cements it, because the mug of coffee that made me actually feeling better and got things leveled out, that was the second mug of the day. And so I think I'm going to be much more likely to have that second mug of the day. Just simply because I need to be mindful of blood sugar levels, because they can easily go too low, just as easily as they can go too high. That, and get myself a supply of test strips and test a little more frequently. Yeah, put it a little farther ahead of me, and it won't end up on the bank behind me. Yeah, so anyway, that's pretty much where we're going there. I know I kind of rambled on about that, but whatever. I ramble on about a lot of things. But that was that situation, which actually took most of the day to develop. I mean, my carb intake for that day, for yesterday, was really low. I mean, if you subtract, okay, my mug of coffee has a grand total, the way I make it, and remembering it's a 3-cup mug, it has a grand total of like 148 calories, and the important part, 31.2 grams of carbs. And so yesterday, the 62 point, the 62.4 grams of carbs total between 2 mugs of coffee, that was most of the carbs that I had yesterday. The rest of it would have added up to probably about maybe 10. So, sans coffee, I am doing extreme low carb. And it's a good thing I am insisting on having my coffee, because it's keeping my blood sugar from tanking too far down. And I don't know, if this sounds like I'm taking a long trip around the bend just to justify doing something I'm going to do anyway, even though it may or may not be a great idea, so be it. I don't know. It wasn't intended that way, but I can see where it might sound like that. And I need to find a spot for a quick overnight. I like such spots to be generally a little bit in the open, away from traitorous evil chickens that are out to kill you and turn you over to the creepers or whatever. Alright. Whoa. Okay. Let's just go up this way. And you know what? This'll do. Right here. It's going to have to. I'm out of time. Alright, torch. And bed. And daylight. Okay. I think, yeah, okay. And now I can proceed onward to the downward and see about getting down this way to yon beach-like area and proceeding onwards, preferably without breaking my neck doing it. Yeah. Okay. Well, oh man, I feel like the render distance is kind of short. That fog seems to be much better. Yeah. As a matter of fact, it may even be thumbnail better. Okay. Screenshot. There. All right, yeah, that looks pretty good. And I don't know how I managed to get that render distance set so low. I wondered why there was all that fog up close. I normally don't like that and try to avoid it. Brief mute. Alrighty, there we go. Anyway, that's pretty much what's been going on for me yesterday. And let's see. Okay, let's see. Oh, yes, that's right. A recent question. The Ghost of the Mind asks, what would Mrs. TFC think, if she was still with us, of your YouTube job? Well, considering that almost all of everything I've ever done with YouTube happened after her passing. I think that had she not passed, that the assorted stuff and things of life that worked around to the point of me getting started doing YouTube a lot on the vlog channel, and then later discovering Minecraft and doing that. I think basically, had events not gone the way they had, you good folks would never have heard of me, and I would not now be doing what I am doing. Things would have gone massively differently. Exactly how, I'm not even going to venture to guess, because, you know, but generally speaking, things that led me to starting YouTube would not have come together the way they did. And very likely, extremely likely, that you good folks would never have heard of me. And making videos on a frequent basis, daily or otherwise, would not have been a thing. Making gaming videos would absolutely, certainly not have been a thing. No way. It would not have happened. And I would never have discovered Minecraft in the first place, which is, of course, the primary reason that I do game videos at all, is because of the start that I got in Minecraft. I would never have seen Olincelot's video that introduced me to the game. So, yeah. And as for the what would she think thing, what would her opinion be of my doing this particular thing if she were to somehow be able to render her opinion? Suffice it to say, I don't want to go there. I'm just going to leave it at that. And, you know, some things do not bear discussion. And I'm just going to leave that where it is. You know, things worked out the way they did because things happened the way they did. And had things not happened the way they did, stuff would have been very different. In any event, it just goes to prove that a big part of how we grow and develop in life is affected in no small degree by events and by people around us, things that happen, people we know, places we go, and so on. Everything we do, and a really lot of what happens around us acts in some various degrees of ways to influence how we eventually turn out. This is not to say that one's environment is to blame for everything, or even a lot of what one does, or what one, or how life goes, because I think saying something like that would be kind of a cop-out. but it is a strong influence. Anyway, I hope that is a reasonable enough answer to the question, because I really don't think I should discuss it any further. It's, suffice it to say, not the most comfortable of topics. And we'll just leave it at that. In any event, moving onwards, looks like somebody blasted the daylights out of this thing. Which reminds me, I still have 3 bits of TNT. So, that begs the question, what to do with it? Because my original thought was to wait until I should find surface spawners and use the TNT to blow them up, because blowing up a spawner and the inhabitants that it generates is always kind of cool. But I haven't seen one of those in quite a while. They're not extremely super common to begin with, and yeah. So I don't know, I haven't really given a whole lot of thought. Well, I've given a certain amount of thought, but I haven't had any really brilliant seeming ideas, whether they were or not. They didn't even seem that way, about what to do with 3 blocks of TNT that I am still carrying, and I would like to find something to do with it, because that will free up an inventory slot. And I don't want to just leave it somewhere. You know, I could pitch it and let it despawn, or I could put it in a chest as if I was forgetting that it was almost sunset and I need to find a place. Yeah, as if it was some kind of a Easter egg for some hypothetical would-be person to come along behind me to find. Of course, we know that's not going to happen. Okay, let me get dug in here. Well, anyway, if you have ideas of what to do with 3 blocks of TNT, especially ideas that don't involve hazard to my own person or excessive amounts of build time and whatnot, I would be interested to hear. Okay, you up there. Okay, plug this, brief pause. All right, now that I'm back, let's get the bed down and get some more beds made. Mental note to self, I need to get some more wood tomorrow, next episode. Alright, and we'll throw you away. And I'll try to get this picked up. There we go. Alright, well, I think that's going to be doing it for today. And I will say, be sure to stop by TinFoilChef.com, where you too can donate to support child play charity. A worthy cause, definitely. And thanks for watching. Take it easy. I am out of here.